Why is OBS such a retarded fucking streaming service that constantly just starts up out of nowhere? I have no idea. Apparently, it is good to go. It has been good to go before, which is annoying as fuck. I just don't know why OBS can't start on time when I ask it to start on time. Really annoying shit. Anyways, I was bored and I felt like I haven't done anything this week, and I figured I'd do just a live video response of Richard doing it. Okay. So apparently, No Bullshit does his response to some vegan, and then Richard's doing a live response to No Bullshit, and it's just, it's utter cancer. I got 18 minutes into this. It's like, he's gone nowhere into the video, but I figured, why not? Because I'm bored. I have nothing to do, really. Yeah, why not? I'll be watching the chat. I'll probably tweet this out if I can figure it out. Oh, shit. Probably getting some feedback on my phone with a delay. Nasty delay. I am not professional, everyone, so don't never. You have been warned. You have been warned. Let's put it that way. But I try to do it as best as I can, as far as I understand. I am a total not college educated on anything film related, so I just learned by the seat of my ass. That's what I do. I'll just tweet out vegans suck and the live stream. Because that's my personal opinion, but I know it's facetious. For fuck's sakes, can't say that word. Alright, just to get this show on the road. So we're going to restart this, actually, and I'm going to, because this is an hour and 34 minutes, we're just not going to worry about it. Like, we're going to keep things short, and even though we've already spent probably 5 minutes on an intro doing this, I've mostly been working on kind of a fresh intro to try and get things a little bit more entertaining, if that makes any sense, because my format is particularly probably dry for a lot of people. Obviously, I have, if you haven't noticed, I have in my YouTube's, I'll show you, where the hell is my channel? In my YouTube's channel, I just thought of this, but I have the other two channels, so this is just garbage shit posting if you want that, and this is going to be more of me long tangents, rants. I can't live stream them to that channel because I've used up all of my verifications for live streams. Horseshit. Google, your system sucks. I'm going to complain about it every single time. Oops. Wrong tab. So anyways, yeah, we'll just... This is probably not even centered, right? Is it? Oh, it's... never mind. It's good to go. Alright, we'll just do this then. So yeah, I'm gonna try and keep the responses brief, but yeah, this channel, hopefully you'll see something new with this channel. The point that I was saying. So we're gonna keep the responses brief, and if it's really retarded, like, this is not gonna be a serious refutation of veganism. I'll probably have a video on that coming out sometime. I do what I feel like. I don't do anything on schedule. So yeah.
To respond to No Bullshit's video. You know, I saw it. It's 15 minutes long. It takes the cake as the most retarded video ever put out by the skeptic community against veganism. It's even worse than roaming millennials.
No Bullshit has explicitly said that he's not in the skeptic community, whatever the fuck that means. I mean, I understand what Richard's trying to say, because there's no better word for whatever the skeptic community is. I don't know. It's a fucking clusterfuck. Let's just ignore whatever the hell that was. But, you know, obviously he's just, that's a really odd thing, is they always label, I find, with, like, whether it's Destiny or Anision, straight out the gun, they always label their opponent a moron, rather than showing what they have said and then responding to what they have said. And saying, oh, fucking moron, you know, that's just moronic or something like that, you know, whatever the hell they said. Because maybe it is. but they always come out of the gun calling their opponent a moron, which is kind of odd. So it sounds sociopathic to me, to be honest, because I think maybe it's a good tactic. I've never been the gossip girl type in high school or anything like that, but maybe that's the way you control the narrative. Maybe it's just something psychological that's really good. We've spent way too much time already responding. Wow, this is growing great to our short responses, but let's continue on.
Neil's video, which is really amazing and terrifying. So for those of you who don't know No Bullshit, he's part of the skeptic anti-SJW community. Let's see, he's fairly subscribers, almost 8 million total video views. I think he gets 2.5 million views on his channel.
Yeah, why does this matter, Richard? Why does channel views matter if you're not a sociopath? Seriously, these people have to be sociopaths. All they give a shit about is numbers, drama, and reach, and audience, and crap like that. They don't give a crap about arguments, necessarily. I think, in terms of, Richard. I'm not gonna, I'm sorry, but his screen names is an oxymoron. That's what I gotta say about that. Vegan gains. You gain more muscle mass by protein, which you mostly get from beef, meat, primarily lean. A lot of that type of stuff. The expensive shit that I can't afford.
Channel per month. Fairly large channel. As you can see, his views and everything are decent. And just recently, he decided to make a video criticizing veganism.
Yeah, because veganism is horseshit.
A goddamn moron.
Oh, he's just a goddamn moron.
So,
we haven't even started the video yet.
This video starts off with the Metal Gear Solid font that says "No Bullshit." This video is full of bullshit.
Great assertion, Richard. Also, I love how he's criticizing his, like, awesome After Effects, like, intro that I don't have yet, that I'm trying to build not in After Effects, so it's going to be even more shitty. Like, well, not even more shitty, but it's going to be shitty compared to No Bullshits, obviously. I don't know who built it for him. Maybe he built it himself because sometimes people build it for other people, but, regardless, I don't know why he's hating on his intro. That's fucking retarded.
Which is very ironic.
Why is it relevant?
So, in case anyone has any issues with the audio levels, just write in the chat. I can just increase the volume of the video or decrease it or whatever.
Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. This weekend I got a pretty interesting email, and it may have poked this carnivorous bear into coming out of hibernation. Militant Vegans sent me a video challenge from Ask Yourself called Skeptic Community Debate Challenge.
I want to point out how he said militant vegans. What exactly is militant about sending you a link to a video, challenging you to a debate?
Maybe there's more to the story that he didn't explain. I don't know. Either way, I noticed this. It's people like the hostile language. They just like the language. Just like they when you say, "Oh, this guy's just a fucking moron. He's retard." Meet his murder slogans. Like it's slogans. They're slogans. Special snowflake, SJW. Like they're all slogans. White male, cis white male. Like it's all. I don't know. Maybe it makes you feel like you're part of the club because you understand the terminology. I think it's primarily psychological though. Whatever the hell it is, because I'm not a sociologist and I have no idea what the hell it is. Maybe people just like hearing the terms because they hate what the term is. So if you're opposed to the term, then they like you being opposed to the term because they oppose the term themselves. I don't know. Some shit like that. You do it yourself, Richard, so I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. You say cow rape. cow meat murder, shit like that. Like, and everyone's like, "The fuck is wrong with you, Richard?"
Like, this no bullshit guy, everything he fucking says is some sort of weird exaggeration or play on words or spin on things.
Everyone does that, including
just
you,
so that
Richard.
he can
God,
sort of
fucking
dismiss the ideological principles of veganism. He
No,
never
he's
actually.
No, he's explaining the situation, the premise going into the video, just like you explained your premise going into the video. Like, no bullshit's a moron, and no bullshit. Oh, his video is full of bullshit. Okay, you just explained the premise of what your video is going to be about. He's explaining the premise of what his video is about, Richard. Fuck, you're nuts. You're that wasn't nuts. That was just plain stupid. I'm sorry. Don't want to mischaracterize the God Emperor Richard.
Tax the ideological principles of veganism themselves. Everything is just word games and bullshit. So he should just change his channel name to Bullshit after this.
Now, for starters, I don't necessarily claim to be in the skeptic community. I'm in the stopping bullshit community, and I've never talked.
Yeah, I'd consider you in the skeptic community. His whole channel is devoted to this sort of shit. So,
about vegans on the show before. You know why? Because there's plenty of other actually important things to talk about.
I see. So, again, he has to spin things in a direction so that he can just dismiss veganism outright, as if veganism isn't an important issue.
Maybe it's not important to him, but, you know, why does veganism have to be an important issue to everyone? Some people literally do not give a fuck. Why? Why, Richard? I understand it's important to you, but to a lot of other people, it's not important to people. To me, primarily why I even give a fuck about veganism is apparently because how many assholes I've engaged with veganism, quite like Roman Millennial, which, you know, and all these other people that have noticed this whole veganism trend is just, the fuck is wrong with you people like you, Richard? The fuck is wrong with you people? You're assholes. You are, I don't want to say asshole, because asshole is just an asshole. More accurate term is I genuinely think is sociopathic. Obviously not an expert on socialism and sociology or whatever the fuck, but, in a layman's understanding of brain function, you seem to be like a sociopath. That's the best way I can describe your behavior and your motivations in life.
It relates to public health, it relates to the environment, and of course, if you're going to deny that there's a huge ethical issue of torturing and killing billions of animals per year...
Slaughtering a cow is not torture. Torture is burning the cow alive and, like, you know, shit like that. When you could easily just, you know, use the normal industry standard, which is blow them in the head with a gun and boom, boom, done. Instant death. No, not really much pain or suffering, as needless pain and suffering. Well, bang, done. It's done in an instant. They don't even see it coming. Like, that's how the cow industry works. People like to, and that's even factory farming. You know, the sad life of factory farming, which, I mean, you know, obviously free range is better. Let's just be frank about that. It's a sad existence to be locked up in a pen for your entire existence, but unfortunately they can't figure out that they even have an existence. I think for the most part. But of course we'll get deeper into all of that shit, I assume, because I've only been 18 minutes in this. I'm like, I'll just make a live response to this, because why the hell not?
Something's not quite right with your head. So, yeah, veganism actually is an important issue. It affects everyone.
U.S. politics, growing anti-white racism, feminism, women belittling men, you know, things that actually affect people. So,
Okay, anti-white racism, feminism, do these things, like, are these life and death sort of issues? And I'm
They
not
could
just
be in the
talking about
future.
the animals that are killed in the animal agriculture industry. I'm even talking about human health.
They could be in the future. They could be in the future, Richard. If the radical post-feminist, postmodernist, feminist Marxist get in power, we've seen what communism does. Very likely, white males that have made YouTube videos like myself would be dragged off to the Canadian or American gulag. This is why we're speaking up against it now, Richard. This is why. I mean, look at my damn suggestion feed. Bill 89. I have to do a video on Bill 89 because Bill 89 is fucked. It's a good thing I'm not in Ontario, but fuck, what happens in one province tends to float to the rest. So Bill 89 is horseshit, but you know, like I said, it's don't dismiss these issues as if they're silly nonsense issues that are going to lead to nowhere. I do think that, tactically we can prioritize certain issues over other ones, and I would prioritize veganism on the very low end of societal destruction and evilness, if that makes any sense, because communism, ugh.
The leading cause of death worldwide is heart disease. It's the leading cause of death by far. It's caused by...
I thought starvation and like poverty causes, because there's like billions of more people in poverty that can't eat. I don't know. I thought that was the leading cause of death. Historically, it's always been just disease in general, like bacterial disease, bubonic plague, uh, Spanish flu, infection, because I couldn't find a doctor because I got a gnarly wound. Whatever the hell it would be, but I'm not sure. Probably, Richard, probably heart disease. When you've been smoking for 40 years, you get heart disease. I mean, I don't know. When you're 80 years old and you've had enough salt from hundreds, 1,000 billion meals that has been oversalted maybe a little bit too much, you get heart disease and die. Like, a lot of these things, like human bodies were not meant to actually live past 40. As sad as that is thing to say. Now, because of our technology, we have prolonged our life, but basically human bodies have been designed to and this is going to sound really fucked up, but as soon as you are pubescent, get pregnant and then start raising the next generation as early as possible, and then hopefully, in case you have an early death at like 30, at the ripe old age of 27 or 34 or something like that, you still have at least raised your kid for 15, 16 oh fuck, almost 15 years. So they're now technically the new adult, right? Like, human existence has been cruel for the most part, for the vast majority of human existence. So it's just one of those things, Richard. I don't think we really evolved to live past 60, 50. Whatever we have past then, whatever years you get past then is kind of almost, just a testament to the fact that we lucked out that we can prolong our lives through technology and disease prevention and stuff like that. And you claim heart disease, but not all heart disease is caused by carcinogens in meat. Something I hear from all the vegans. I'm pretty sure there's cancer in fucking everything. That's my personal opinion.
Consuming animal products that are high in saturated fat and cholesterol. So hundreds of thousands, and actually hundreds of thousands of deaths in America alone, but you're talking about millions of deaths worldwide.
To heart disease.
That's less important than feminism. Like, just some screechy bitches complaining about how girls in video games are prettier than them. That's a bit more important to talk about than hundreds of thousands of people in America alone dying of heart attacks each year.
From the get-go, I have to say, animal cruelty is a first world problem, something only the rich and privileged have time to worry about.
Animal cruelty is a first world problem. That's like saying Muslim terrorism is a first world problem.
How? Hopefully, I'll explain this.
No, like, again, like, this animal agriculture industry, it affects everyone. It affects the environment. It's a huge contributor to global warming. It's actually causing water and air pollution. And places like South America, they're cutting down the Amazon rainforest to make room for grazing cattle. And, you know, not only is it a huge environmental...
Are you sure? Because I thought... I'd imagine there are sections of the Amazon rainforest that they've taken down to stop, you know, for cattle, to make room for the cattle, right? I completely would, that would make perfect sense, but this idea that, oh, it's only for grazing cattle? No. Imagine they're probably chopping down the forest anyways for wood products, and then they're just saying, oh, well, now we have an empty patch of land that has been cleared, so let's put some cows and like soybeans and you know, agriculture on this land because we've reclaimed it. You know, let's be honest, jungle is almost completely useless to human production and any type of sense of human production. It's almost completely useless. I don't mean to be a dick about that, but facts are facts. You know, the jungle basically kills you for the most part. The only thing useful you can out of the jungle is, I guess, wood for clearing the forest.
Issue there, but they're actually massacring indigenous people just to make room for grazing cattle. So
I'm gonna have to look that one up. I simply don't believe you, Richard, on that one. I simply don't believe you. I mean, I'm never gonna... I'm not gonna take that one. I don't believe in anything, necessarily. I think things are right or wrong, but, oh, fuck, I just dropped something. But yeah, I'm skeptical of that one. That claim is just one of those things where it's like, I don't see that. Well, I'm not denying it. I'm not a denier, but you know what I mean. You get what I mean. Have to check the citation on that one. I'm not sure about that, Richard.
yeah, this first world problem, I don't think indigenous tribes living in the Amazon rainforest, I don't think they live in the first world.
Wait, what? I don't see how that was a rebuttal. I really don't. So he tries to make it a third world problem through... Oh my god. If you didn't follow that, I'm going to try and re-summarize that very quickly because I obviously broke it up into pieces by pausing and responding. So basically, he's saying that it's a third world problem because... or second world problem, third world problem, because we're clearing the land, which is driving the natives and massacring them in his context, literally massacring them. I don't know how, I don't know why. You know, might want to look up the Brazilian government statistics on massacring indigenous populations, but We're apparently massacring them because of our desire for meat. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't think Richard's seeing the point that No Bullshit's trying to make. Is that whining about the ethics of animals is a first world problem. Okay?
Once dated a girl who tried to push our vegan shit, and I had to spill it out to her like that. I had to say, hey, I'm broke. I can't afford to buy your expensive vegan shit. This is a...
Alright, here again, he's putting a spin on things so that he can just dismiss things. Oh, it's a first world problem that only rich people have to worry about. Okay, like, again, over 600,000 people in the United States die of heart disease. How many,
At the ripe old age of maybe 70, 80. Not very ripe, sad existence. But let's face it, reality sucks. And was it because they ate meat? Or was it just, maybe other things they ate or did? Smoking, alcoholism, name one. Name one. I don't know what is all associated with heart disease and cancer, but almost everything is. Sun tanning, for Christ's sake, Richard.
people in the United States die of feminism? Like, even if you're going to...
Richard. See, the thing is disease is almost accepted as a natural cause of death, even though it's really sad. It's like, your father dying an early, well, what we consider an early death at like 50 of cancer. Really sucks, really sad, but we kind of tend to look on it on the reality of, it's not really in our hands. We don't have a cure for cancer, so it's not in our hands. Whereas something like a militant feminist going around and deciding to be let's say a militant feminist starts a terrorist attack, or there's a militant feminist coup in America where they're trying to overthrow the government. That's something well in humans' control. It's not the normal part of society, of American society at least. And so that's why that's a little bit more, it's not on the same footing as things like disease or car crashes. It's just not on the same footing. It's not business as usual. It's not a collision. It's not we didn't mean to do this, but on purpose, right? We didn't mean to kill you in a car on purpose. Otherwise, that's vehicle manslaughter, which is obviously another crime for that, and that gets far more headlines than, say, a rollover that kills 4 teenagers that were drunk. Well, obviously that would get more headlines, but you get what I'm saying. It's a little bit of different standard. Different standard. It's a different situation. That's a better word. I try to use good words that make sense because, well, sometimes people burn you on the words you say in live streams. Thunderfoot.
say this is a first world problem. Yeah, it's a pretty fucking huge problem when hundreds of thousands of people are dying from it. And the whole argument that it's too expensive, that's fucking horseshit. I spend anywhere from $20 to $40 on my groceries per week.
I mean, for me, let me think. You can't live off of Ichiban, so, we can do maybe 5 meals a week on that. So that's, if I pull out the stops and put like some frozen vegetables in there, it's usually an average. Well, just round it up to about $1 a meal for that. So I'm usually paying about $1 a meal. Like, you can get canned soup. For me, my meals are very cheap. Cereal, you're getting that. I think it's something like, it's supposed to be 50 cents a bowl. Now they've recently had like a new cereal that I don't know if it's in the States, but it's called Sally's cereal. It's pretty good shit, and it's really cheap. because they don't package it in a box. I'm guessing it's because the packaging's much lighter because it's in a bag instead of a box. But shit like that. So we're really averaging about $1 to $2 a meal, 7 days a week. You got 21 meals and $2. So yeah, about $22. That is the cheapest of the cheap, and we're looking at 22 to 20 to oh, sorry, shit. I just stuttered very beautifully there. I'm not much of a stutterer, but $22 to $44 a week on the cheapest shit I can think of. Canned soup for a meal. Canned soup for a meal. Richard, I call bullshit on where the fuck are you buying this? Your meals. I call bullshit, Richard. What are you getting? Like, dumpster diving for the what is it? Dumpster diving for the leftover fried vegetables at the Chinese food restaurant. Like, I'm serious, Richard. That's total bullshit, man. I'm calling bullshit on you. Maybe it's because I live in Canada and prices are more expensive, but I mean you're averaging about what you're saying for meals. Now, obviously, mind you, like I did use the $1 to $2 because you're gonna add in things like yogurt or milk products. You're gonna add in shit like that, right? You're not always gonna eat cereal for breakfast. You're gonna sometimes. One thing I really like to have is fresh sandwiches with, yes, deli meat on it, Richard. So that is total bullshit, man. That is serious bullshit. Because I know for a fact, matter of fact, going to the grocery store, you can't just live off vegetables. You have to buy the fancy vegan shit. So what do I have to get now? Like, I have to get, organic, I have to find tofu. Tofu is not at my local supermarket, not local supermarket, but I would hatch. It's not at my walking distance convenient market. Like, and that's the thing is, it's not very inconvenient. Well, I have to drive across town now to go get fucking tofu because you can't not. I don't think you can be vegan and not eat tofu, like, and be healthy. Like, I don't think it's possible. I really don't think it's possible. Like, as much as the Irish lived off potatoes, they're short for a reason because they didn't get proper nutrition. Like, or they were at least when you could see the castles. The castles. Anyone who's 6 feet tall will be smashing their head on the doors of the castles essentially because that's how short they were back in the medieval ages because of nutrition. I mean, just Richard. Where are you getting these other food groups? How much are they costing? Like, they can't be cheap. They can't be cheap. I imagine the vegetables are probably fresh vegetables are not very cheap, but frozen vegetables, okay, you can probably do that. That's not too bad. But, Ichiban noodles, rice grains. Okay, so you got two food groups. Now you got to fill in what you're missing in dairy products and meat products. And the only protein that I'm aware of that's easily accessible is nuts, which is expensive as shit and just not very filling. Like, I mean it's highly nutritious but not very filling. And you also got, and then, oh shit, I'm having a brain fart here, and then is your milk and dairy, and is tofu in milk and dairy, or is it in meats? I don't know. I think it's protein. I'm not quite sure, but whatever the fuck you subsidize your milks with, and it's just like it's not cheap, Richard. It's not cheap. Not to mention, a lot of this shit I can't find in just my local grocery store. I have to go across town to go find it. Imagine somebody who's a ruralite and, they have to go 40 to 100 miles just to get to a grocery store that is going to, in a bigger city, a big enough city that's going to carry any type of vegan products. It's such a fucking hassle, Richard, and it's expensive. Don't bullshit me on this.
And, like, I'm doing bodybuilding and strength training. I'm trying to grow as much as possible. My grocery bill is only $20 to $40 per week. If I choose to go out, then, yeah, that costs more, but normal grocery bill,
Like I said,
only
just
$20 to $40.
bullshit, man. Bullshit.
And I'm willing to
$30
bet money
bullshit.
that this guy No Bullshit is either built like a twig or built like a circle.
Why the fuck does that matter, Richard? Ad hominem attack. Again, sociopath. Point in case. Like, seriously.
Either way, like, yeah, I'm more fucking jacked than you, and...
I'm more fucking jacked than you, and therefore, what? Like, your point? I don't think the argument is who the fuck is the better bodybuilder, because I don't give a fuck about bodybuilding. That's your thing, Richard, okay? Congratulations. You're fucking rich enough to worry about working out all the time. I just make an effort to go catch the mail, like, walk to the mailbox rather than drive like some lazy fucks I see. Walk to my local grocery store to try and, get some sense of exercise while getting something that I need done in the day out of the way. Fuck Richard, man.
My food bill is probably lower, so again, this is another bullshit excuse.
First world problem only rich, pampered, upper rich class white assholes can worry about. But that's a...
Again, a lot of the pig farming that's done in the United States, it's done in very poor areas that are often, like, black areas.
What? I'm sorry. That chuckling probably was cancerous to hear, but my God. Richard, you're telling me that you're doing pork farming in Harlem? What? Pigs are being raised in, like, Harlem and Chicago? Like, what is it? I don't know what the black neighborhood in Chicago is, and Detroit and Cleveland and what? I thought pigs grow up in farms in, like, what people are starting to call Trump Nation, which people like Van Jones call a white lash, because a lot of rural Americans that raise things like cows, pigs, and chickens, even in factory farms, Richard, are white people. Around white people. In what many people consider flyover country. That is the most insanely retarded thing I've ever heard. I don't even need to look. I could look up the statistics if you want. Just go look up the U.S. statistics and prove me wrong on that one. But I really am certain that I am on the side of the statistics. I don't need to look them up, because that's just going to add to, time wasting. And God, Richard, that is honestly the most retarded thing ever. So it hurts. It doesn't hurt white people. I gotcha. It's not just about white people. It hurts black people too, because pig farms are in Harlem. There's a lot of pig farms in Harlem. And okay, pork plants where they do the butchering and shit like that. Sure, that's in Harlem. That's in, a lot of those areas. But it also employs a lot of or at least has the opportunity to employ whomever. I love the alt-right pronunciation of W's. But removing the meat industry is going to have a lot of consequences. Now, I understand you probably want gradual change. That would probably be what you're advocating for, not just a militant, we must stop this tomorrow kind of thing change. But it is a death of the industry, and even the slow death of the auto industry from pretty much the 70s all the way up to now, I guess, because it's still dying. Manufacturing jobs are still dying. They're probably still going to continue to fall in North America, and even if it's a slow death, it's still going to be presumably devastating. And maybe some economists can make some argument that, well, because they switched to tofu and shit, that now the tofu packing industry replaces those jobs or something like that. But I have a feeling that they're not going to be quite the same. I don't think it's going to be quite the same. I imagine you could probably automate meat packing versus tofu packing much easier. And the process of processing tofu for market versus processing meat for market. Yeah, I know there's machines that do a lot of this shit, but there's also the fact that you have to cut the animal in a certain way to get the certain cuts of beef and sort them out, and all this shit, and wrapping them up in the store and stuff like that. I really do think that would be a severe loss of jobs if this meat market did actually lose. So, I mean, if these pork plants are and packaging plants and stuff like that are in what you would the poor black areas, the poor black people, well, then there's jobs for them in their area. What's more important, Richard? What's more important? Jobs for the poor black people, because yes, their unemployment rate is pretty shitty, or carcinogens, cancer everywhere. The wee bit of exposure to whatever cancer that is in the process of meat packing, which is probably less than suntanning on the beach, among other things. Light bulb exposure, for all I fucking know. You cite cancer, but I really doubt that it has any significant reality in terms of fumes from cutting pork. I don't understand what you're trying to say here.
And what these pig farmers do is they build these cesspits that are just full of piss and shit that, the pigs piss and shit out. They're just these huge pools.
Yeah, there's huge pools of shit where the pigs are just, factory farmed in Harlem and Detroit. Fuck, Richard, you're such an idiot. Do you know? I'd imagine there's at least 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 in some sort of predominantly black area. And then there's 1,000 others that are in either mixed, diverse, or predominantly white areas. Because, I'm sorry, but they build factory farms out on land in the rural country.
Of shit. And what they do to get rid of these huge pools of shit is spray the piss and shit into the fucking air and just let it float out into wherever the fuck it's going to go. All of these poor black people are getting these health problems like asthma, certain forms of cancer, because they're getting sprayed with pig piss and shit. Like, again, only rich people have to worry about this, right? Oh, fuck.
I will admit that obviously this is, I don't want to say poor people, but working class. A working class problem is the chemicals you breathe in are a working class problem. But what's the alternative, Richard? And what's the solution? Because a working class person employed is far better for your health than anything, as far as I'm concerned, Richard. for your well-being.
A tangent for another day. Let's give Ask Yourself a chance. Let's check out the video.
Hey guys, so this is a quick video. Straight to the point. This is a call out to the entire skeptic anti-SJW
That wasn't me. But this is now
community.
me.
Is it call out or call oot? Oot, oot. I'm gonna call oot. I'm calling oot. These
Petty bullshit. Yeah, Ask Yourself is from Canada.
fucking
Okay. Why did you even feel the need to pause that? I guess, I don't know. Maybe he did. Whatever. Oh, we're gonna defend the oots. I'm from Canada too, Richard. Ooh, look at me. I'm not from Toronto. I'm not from your upper class Toronto. You're center of the fucking universe. I'm pretty sure Richard is from Toronto, as far as I understand, because that's hipster universe. Other than Vancouver, which is basically Portland, Canada. Toronto is like not really the New York, because it's much worse, and it's not like assholery. You know what I mean? It's its own breed of. Fuck, sorry. I'm drinking water to try and keep my throat proper, but for some reason I get gassy when I drink this shit water. I blame the fucking city. They're really bad at this, but that's not. You don't want to hear me bitch about my problems. You want to hear me bitch about fucking vegans. But anyways, so like I was saying is. Oh shit! What was I saying? Okay, so yeah, Toronto is just its own it's its own breed of nonsense. So there's a lot of vegans there, but either way, like, why does this fucking matter? It's like, okay, yeah, I get it. Oh, Canadian joke. Oh, funny, funny shit. The thing is that I make fun of oot because oot is not a Canadian thing. It isn't. Now I understand. Let me explain. It's a maritime thing. It's a Newfie thing. It's from a certain part of the country. It's like coming from Boston or Chicago. I need to get the car rolling, Carl. It's one of those things. It's not from most of Canada. So why are you perpetually offended, Richard? It's just okay, whatever. I make fun of it too, for fuck's sakes. Fuck Richard.
Canadians.
Many of you have surely noticed the recent debates between the vegan community and high-profile anti-SJW YouTubers. This is likely the beginning of a schism within the skeptosphere, similar to the earlier schism caused by Atheism Plus.
Whoa, guy. Self-important much? This isn't a schism in the skeptic sphere. You and vegan gains aren't even in the skeptic sphere. You're in the pussy-ass Canadian sphere. I bet...
I don't want to be that guy who makes empty threats online, but you want to prove that we're pussy asses? No bullshit. Really? Like,
what a fucking narcissist. I'm sorry, there's nothing to say here. Fight me, bro. I work out. Fuck.
like, I don't know. I make a decent amount of money. I can travel wherever. If you want to meet in person and prove how how pussy we are, I can do that for you. I'm pretty sure that.
Richard, you're proving his point. You're mentally inferior. You're mentally weak. I would just be like, whatever, fucking asshole. Like, whatever. Who cares? You know what I mean? I'd just be like, I would ignore it. It's just okay, fine. Ooh, pansy Canadians. Whatever. You can't exactly blame the Americans when you have our media just full of fucking Trudeau talking about his diversity bullshit. You know, you can't blame the rest of the world for the media that the only part of Canada that they see. You know, I mean, like, you just can't, and you're just proving his point by being mentally inferior, essentially taking this way personal, and it's just like that in itself is a form of pansyism, as far as I'm concerned. You know, just insecurity, at the very least.
Little thumbnail, that little PNG guy you put on this video, that's not you, is it? I'm pretty sure you're a little less fit than that, aren't you?
No shit. If there's any 5-year-olds out in the audience listening here, can you confirm that you understood that that was not no bullshit, and that was just this avatar? Fuck.
Bet both these assholes voted for Cuck Doe.
aka the invasion of social justice into the atheist/skeptic community. And in just the same way, it will serve as a litmus test for intellectual honesty.
Whoa, wait, what? An intellectual litmus test? Schism in the skeptic sphere? Dude, I gotta get out a dictionary just to figure out what the fuck he's trying to say.
Oh, big words! Yeah, so what this guy does is...
He's a ponage channel. Let him do his ponage thing. Calling Canadians pansies. Let him do his ponage thing. God, fucking damn it! Why are you trying to deconstruct jokes, Richard? You're deconstructing jokes.
I think he realizes his audience is just made up of complete fucking retards, so,
So is yours, Wow, actually, it's yours, Richard. It's yours. I think actually everyone's audience has a little bit of retardation in it. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. Even the best, audience, for example, I think Dave Rubin's audience is supposed to be really good. And even, I'd imagine there's going to be some element of retardation in there.
whenever anyone uses big words, he has to say, well, you're using big words. I don't know these big words. You're just trying to confuse me with your logic and stuff. Wow. Yeah, you're trying to refute the ideological principles of veganism by saying you don't know what the fuck he's saying because,
God, we're like 10 minutes in, we haven't gotten anywhere. And I imagine in my live stream, yeah, we're already an hour in, we have gotten nowhere. This is going great.
the words he's using are over 2 syllables. Really makes you look brilliant.
Say, and I'm pretty smart. I know some people might comment I'm not smart enough to understand him, but that's not it. He just speaks an overly complicated, convoluted language.
Oh my god.
I think there is a point. Oh my god, that fucking screen. I'm sorry. That's really funny. But I think the point, he does have some valid of a point. You don't need, like, people can try to use, big words intentionally just to sound smart. I did that all the time with, like, writing essays and shit. I used the biggest words possible when doing creative writing, or, like, ones that flowed well, obviously, too. But, but primarily with essays, yes, big words. I used the biggest word, like, and I have a good vocabulary. I don't have good pronunciation and phonetics, especially on the spot. Most of that gets edited out. The magic of editing, which we don't have when we're doing it fucking live. But I think there is a valid point there. It's just like, okay, just say what you mean. Like, come on, just layman's it. Like, you don't need to fucking go off on fucking big ass words that some people don't actually know. Let's be frank here. There's plenty of people that watch YouTube that are like, what do you mean by that? Because, yes, they are kind of fucking stupid. I'm not gonna lie. Wow. stupid in the sense that they don't have a good vocabulary, or at least don't understand. Like, you don't, have all the big words or whatever, right? And it's just like, it for me, a lot of the times when I choose big words, it's because I'm trying to think of something specific. When I'm trying to nail down something in the most articulate fashion with, like, for example, I use the word articulate a lot. That's not necessarily a common word. It's not a layman's word. It means something very specific, though. And I like it and that's why you probably use it a lot, is because articulation means something very specific rather than just speaking clearly, or it's, I guess you could use speaking clearly, but it's not. I don't know. It's just you get what I'm saying here, though. It's just like if naturally this is how you talk, then I get it. Fine, totally fine. I get it. But if you're just trying to do it just to sound smart, then you're kind of a fucking insecure, as Richard would say, little bitch. Come fight me. I still can't get over that. Or this fucking face on this screen. Fuck.
Smart, but I can't understand the words he's using. He's talking so strange like. I ain't never heard no words in these parts before.
Donald Trump spoke with a fourth grader level, whatever the fuck it was, fourth grader level of speaking, and he won the fucking presidency. Oh, wow. Oh, I think that invalidates your argument, Richard, that maybe sometimes big words can be a hindrance to getting your message across.
He's fucking confusing, but I looked over it a few times, so let me try and be the autistic translator for you guys. Basically, ask yourself a saying, if you're not a vegan, you're not intellectually honest, and I think that's total fucking bullshit.
Fair point.
No, that's not what he's saying.
You're wrong, Richard. Okay, let's hear what he says.
He's saying veganism is a litmus test for intellectual honesty, so that means you're not...
No, that's exactly what it means, Richard. That's exactly what it means. God, let's hear him explain this.
...going to end up making special pleadings or use... just inconsistent logic for justifying killing and eating animals, but you would use that same sort of reasoning to... You wouldn't use that same reasoning to justify other morally abhorrent behavior. Again, these things are very easy to understand, and he's just...
No, I could agree to that if it were true. Now, in some cases, I have seen, not good reputations of veganism. That's why I want to put my 2 cents in. I'm really just doing this off the cuff, and my super serial video that Al Gore is gonna help me with. But my super serious video that I'm gonna make will probably address a lot of the grievances I do have with some of the argumentation that I do think is just not up to snuff. From the anti-vegan side, and it's kind of bothering me, so obviously I want to get to that. I also want to make a video on fucking Kathy Griffin, because she's nuts too, but, I bet you want a nice car, and a $22 steak every night. I would love that, but,
I don't know if he's acting dumb or if he actually is this dumb. I have reason to believe he's acting dumb. It's really hard to believe that somebody can be this stupid, but I've been surprised before. I think this guy just really understands his audience. He knows that he can't refute...
No. See, a lot of these videos are all about breaking things down into layman's terms. And I've noticed this. I think sometimes I get way too complicated or autistic on a certain topic, and I'm not just straight up breaking down things. Like, people want to get information and accurate information, Like for example, I literally broke down one of my more successful videos. I did the math for in terms of articulating the point of how much Fort Mac above 100,000 earners, because I did the math of looking up how many earners that were in that tax bracket or income bracket, and then which is also tax bracket, but income bracket, and also how much they would make, and so they would be sending to the system in 1 year, and it worked out essentially to being the amount of taxes that they would be providing is like somewhere like a ridiculous amount. It's like I can't remember what it was, but off the top of my head. But I broke down the actual equation on the screen in a nice graphic, and I did that throughout the whole video. There was a lot of nice graphics in it in terms of not necessarily pretty, like some sort of professional looking shit, but they were high contrast. Like some of them were high contrast, and a lot of them were like just informative. And so it is all about the psychology of the person watching the video. A lot of the times people watching YouTube videos are watching them not only for entertainment, but also for the layman's understanding. And sometimes they're not paying attention with, very, very, like, laser focus. A lot of times I'm playing, like, Grand Theft Auto in the background while I'm listening to Jordan B. Peterson, and I have to, like, rewind the conversation a couple times just to fully, remember what he said, like, hear what he said, because I might have missed, like, 3 seconds because I was typing in the chat, like, fuck you asshole or something like that to some prick in GTA or trolling them or whatever. And so, like, I have to go back because I'm like, I didn't quite catch what he was saying, even though I heard the words, literally speaking, right? And so it's just one of those things. It's human psychology. Sometimes we hear things, but we don't fully comprehend them. And it doesn't make us stupid people. Okay? There's ways we learn, and the more, visual aids, as well as layman's understanding and very specific and straight to the point your arguments can be, which is not what's happening right here, is obviously far more successful for your channel, because people are like, oh, wow, I understood that. Teaching is a skill. It's not enough to just know things and then just write them on a whiteboard. Teaching is a skill. Okay?
The ideological principles of veganism, and so he's just playing dumb to appease his audience, saying, this guy's not making any sense. He's using big words I don't understand. You guys understand this? I don't understand it. This vegan's dumb. That's his whole game.
Yeah, attributing motive. Good one. It's a good thing you're not in the skeptic community. If only I had a Krautenti echoer.
Look at P2 on this loser's little chart. There's no trait absent in animals, which if absent in humans, would cause us to deem ourselves valueless. Wow, more confusing, convoluted language.
Really? Okay, so plain English is too convoluted and confusing for you. Okay.
Like I said, it sounds like it's straight out of a sociology paper. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. He used big words to sound. Well, it sounds smart, I guess, if that makes any sense. Now, obviously, this is why, like, I really like, for example, Dr. Layman's channel, because that's his whole, his whole branding of the channel. He is the Dr. Layman, because he is a doctor of sociology or whatever, and he breaks down sociology papers in layman's terms, and it's awesome. That criminally undersubbed. He should be up there with Sargon and everyone else. 100,000 views. Now, obviously, I think the reason why his channel is not as popular is because it's not a ponage channel. It doesn't have as much entertainment value, or talks about topics about, dumb feminists, dumb feminists, dumb feminists, dumb feminists. I mean, it doesn't pound that drum necessarily. Or, stuff like that. It's just not quite what people want, because I really think that anti-SJWs really do want entertainment, because there isn't anti-SJW entertainment out there. Music, movies, TV shows, none of it. It's not there. Visual art, no. It's the anti-SJW entertainment. All it is, like, and I guess art, if you want to call it that, it's all on YouTube. So I mean, like I said, I think he's criminally undersubbed because of the work he does. I think it's brilliant. But that being said, clearly the market likes Naked Ape style videos where he's just calling people fucking idiots and making a very specific point and not breaking down dry sociology papers even in layman's terms, because sociology papers sometimes tend to be dry.
There is no trait absent in animals which, if absent in humans, would cause us to deem ourselves valueless. Okay, so a lot of people say cows aren't as intelligent as people, therefore it's okay to kill cows. Okay.
I'm not going to make that argument, so I'm just going to let this play through. That's actually not my argument. It's not intelligence, it's something else. I'll leave you hanging for the next video.
Well, if a human being was as intelligent as a cow, which is sometimes the case, there are people who are mentally retarded, you wouldn't say that just gives you the right to kill that retard. So, then again, that's intellectual dishonesty. If you think it's okay to kill a cow because it's not that intelligent, but you wouldn't use that line of logic to kill a human being, you're being intellectually dishonest. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't use that line of reasoning, so I'll explain it later. I actually wonder if they don't use that line of reasoning either. They just don't know how to articulate it, because nobody's come up with this. I've come up with the ultimate ponage kryptonite of the vegan community. No, I'm fucking with you. I'm just saying, but I mean, like, nobody seems to talk about it, and I don't know why. I've never heard this argument before. Maybe I have come up with something original. Maybe somebody else thought of it and they just haven't made a YouTube video on it. Maybe I just haven't seen their YouTube video. Whatever.
But, like, you understand this, I'm sure, but you're just acting stupid so that you don't have to acknowledge these very simple truths.
His points are very overcomplicated, especially for like a 5-minute YouTube video. I guess that's the only way he can win these little arguments he has.
Just to keep this coherent, because obviously we're only... Wow, am I doing worse than Vegan Gains on this response? Because I can't see his video bar. Shit. But I'm only 13 minutes in and an hour into the live stream, so I will cap this at probably somewhere around 2 hours. Just to make this not more cancerous than it needs to be. FYI. Oh.
The only way he can win these arguments is by, like, talking smart and, like...
Hate this guy so god.
You're
Jake.
wasting too much time.
But we'll get to those false assumptions later. For now, let's talk about traits that animals don't have. We'll skip that other weird part where he puts an if in there to try to mess you up. Okay, traits animals don't have. Cognitive thought. No, not him. Like real cognitive thought.
Cognitive thought. Cognitive thought is really just the ability to, like, learn, assess a situation. Like, animals obviously...
Learn and assess a situation. I mean... I don't know if you noticed, but cows haven't learned to turn rocks into tools. Just saying. I mean, maybe if they had opposable thumbs, maybe they could, and they started walking on 2 legs, and you gave it 2, 3, 4 million years. Maybe that could happen, but who knows? Maybe that's completely wrong. Maybe God made all the animals the way they're supposed to be. I don't know. We're not gonna get into evolution versus creationism. No, not here. But I'm just saying. They clearly haven't figured out how to get the fuck out of the pen. Clearly. So cognitive thought, learning. Yeah. There's certain levels of cognitive thought that people have. I'd imagine training your brain does help. Me playing strategy games, I do think that does helped my improve my ability of cognitive thought. What is cognitive thought? I actually don't even know what the hell that word means. I'm just assuming it means essentially IQ and what Richard's defining it. Maybe a cognitive thought means like conscious thought or something similar to that. I don't know. Like I said, big words. I don't even know what that word means, technically speaking. I should probably dictionary it, so maybe I should stop talking about it like I know what it means and let Richard make an ass out of himself if he's getting it wrong. But in terms of what Richard's saying is learning and refuting that cows can learn, and what was the other one? I can't remember. Does it fucking matter? No, we're gonna continue on. This is a live stream, and we're having god-awful time. Yeah, we're getting nowhere fast. This is why I definitely want to do my video that's clear, concise, and non-cancerous.
Don't have the intellectual capacity that we do, but to say that they have absolutely no cognitive thought is ridiculous.
Did he say that? I don't know if he said that. I think he just said cognitive thought. That is something. Maybe he did. I don't even know what the hell cognitive thought is. Seriously, I'm just going to continue on.
Yeah, they do. They're sentient. They can...
I don't know what sentient means actually either. I assume it means like in terms of Optimus Prime sentient, because I remember hearing it Transformers. So that sentient life, you gotta protect sentient life. So sentient life, I assumed it mean like things like humans and stuff, not necessarily cows, but maybe it did mean cows. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck the definition for sentient life is. So, to be honest, I'm like I said, I gotta look at my definitions in order to make a good, concise, coherent video. You know, you gotta put the work in. You gotta put the work in, and also have something worth talking about in a way that's presented that people want to hear.
Feel pain and suffering. They have a will to live. This is very...
I actually don't necessarily know if cows have a will to live. I think they have a survival instinct to live, but in terms of a will to live, I don't think so. You look... Have you ever seen a cow, Richard? Have you ever looked a cow in the fucking face? Because I have. I've seen cows. A herd of cows. All types of cows. I've seen them up close. I've seen them far away, driving around the highway. Like, that's me driving on the highway. Seeing the cows. Not the cows driving on the highway. They're not sentient. This is why we can eat cows, because they can't drive cars. I'm just kidding. But, like I said, so it's just, have you ever looked into a cow, like seen a cow? There seems to be absolutely nothing going on upstairs. They're just doing this. Moo. Moo. They literally seem to have nothing going on upstairs. Maybe they just don't give a fuck, and they're totally super genius, super cows. But if you look at me, they really don't seem to be. They have like 3 instincts: eat, move, shit. We'll add another 4th one, which is survival instinct, run, and I guess the 5th one, which is fuck. That seems to be the most cows have. I think calves have a play complex for a little bit. Like, I mean, like they seem to enjoy running around, but for the most part, there's nothing really interesting about cows. I look into I look at a dog, and there's some sense of socialization there, which clearly states that there's something a little bit more going upstairs there. We're trying to make the intelligence argument. I really don't think cows have the threshold of intelligence that you think they have, Richard. The hell just happened? Oh, for fuck's sakes. Okay, we're gonna have to retry.
Traits, you'd think that it's okay to kill that human. Well,
Doesn't matter, we're just gonna skip ahead because Richard's gonna make more lame arguments. Pretty much just as long as I'm making, maybe shorter because I'm responding. Fuck. This is response inception that's going nowhere fast.
you just named the traits in animals that you think justifies killing them. So, okay, if human beings lacked those traits, you'd say it's okay to kill them? Like, you're not even addressing the argument here.
Oh, I'm confused. You vegans talking.
Just
Again, more of that
he
shit.
wrote, "To be honest, I'm actually scared of you, but I still love your content. Thank you, Righteous Red."
Well, hold on, I want to read
Just
this
donated
comment.
$5 in the super chat. Thank you very much. He wrote, "To be honest, I'm actually scared of you, but I still love your content. Thank
I'm honestly scared of you. I don't think that's a compliment, Richard. I don't think that's a compliment.
you, Righteous Red."
Standing up for creatures that didn't ask them to, and they're doing it to try to take the moral high ground to look better. Sorry.
Again, like, anyone who has any sort of concern for anything, like, are they taking the moral high ground? Like, are police...
I've addressed this. Let's
Pulling you and the vegan community.
skip ahead a little bit. Try and get some fucking new points, because I remember listening up to this 18 minutes, and there was nothing going on here. It was just the same old same shit.
Feel that way about animals because you clearly respect them more than you do actual fucking human beings.
No, you dumb piece of shit. We have enough respect for animals to not rape them, not keep them in confined places.
Oh my god, horseshit. Milking a cow is not rape. How many times do I fucking say it? You fuck nut. Me drinking milk is not raping a cow or condoning rape of a cow. This is why people think vegans are nuts.
Not torture and kill them.
Yeah, torture and kill. Yeah, you know, they're just on those factory farms, and they're just, senselessly, death by 1,000 cuts for the cows because that makes so much fucking sense. Actually, no, it doesn't make any fucking sense, and I'll leave that truth bomb. Why that's fucking stupid, to startle a cow in the factory farm. So it's more useful to make their death for slaughter the least sufferable, because otherwise they'll freak the fuck out and alert all the other cows. But I'll explain. I'm gonna explain that one. I'm gonna leave that one. I've kind of given you a good hint on that one, if you haven't figured it out. But I'll leave that one for my response video. You gotta save it for next time.
Retard like you, I'd value less than a fucking chicken.
It's shit like that, Richard, that makes people know you're fucking insane.
Than a cockroach, in fact. If you were running around...
No, Richard, I actually think you're definitely more of a more... Oh my god, how do I say this? To me, because you are a human being, you are definitely worth more than a cockroach, Richard. I will say that. Even though I think you are an insufferable human being, you're definitely worth more than a cockroach to me. Just saying that. Just saying.
my apartment and you were trying to step on a cockroach, I'd just take out my baton and just smash you across the fucking head, because that cockroach's life is more...
Fuck, Richard, you're nuts! I should call the police? I mean, is that swatting if I call the police on Richard? I mean, I wouldn't do it during a live stream to be a dick, but is it swatting if, I don't know, I looked up Richard's docs and, or just like told the police, like, hey, like, check this guy out, he's He's fucking crazy, dude. Maybe you should admit him to mental services. I don't know. I don't know. Seriously, have you not? I presume if you're watching this video, you've seen Bearing's video on the shit that Vegan Gains has said. He's fucking nuts. He's constantly making violent threats like this. At least this one's a baton. The last one he was using a fucking gun.
More valuable than yours. It is more intelligent and more sentient than you. I'm sure if I told that cockroach, like, said a word to it that's more than 2 syllables, it would fucking understand.
No, that is just fucking stupid. I don't even think cockroaches have the capacity. Like, there's certain bugs that don't even have the capacity to even hear. You do understand that, Richard? Like, they can see, but some of them can't see, but and instead they hear. But I don't know about cockroaches, but they might not even be able to hear, let alone understand fucking English. Their brain is like minuscule size, Richard. You do understand that? There's literally only 4 things that their brain can think of, which is eat, shit, survive, like fight or flight, and fuck. That is the existence of a cockroach. God damn it.
Son of a bitch.
Beings. Roaming Millennial got some of the grossest, most disturbing hate from the vegan community after her videos. Talk about killing and raping and all kinds of messed up shit. It's just so hypocritical for...
Boo fucking who. Random anons fucking said mean things to you in the comments section. What is this horseshit?
Oh, God. I think the point is that they claim to be vegans, so they're representing your community, and therefore it's hypocritical, right? It's like if I claimed to be a feminist and then I shot my girlfriend, because and I was constantly talking and trying to call people out for them not bringing up the issue of violence against women, and then I committed violence against my woman. A little hypocritical, isn't it? Isn't it, vegan, Richard? So veganism claims to talk about the moral ethics of veganism, and then people who are representing the vegans go onto videos and act like assholes and do morally unethical behavior to humans. Ooh, wow. I'm trying to explain hypocrisy to you if you didn't quite catch on to that.
Leafy is here, made a video about me, and holy fucking hell, you want to talk about a cancerous community?
Yeah, no denying that. No denying that. Richard has, I think, finally made one solid point. He made kind of like a half point, maybe it was a quarter point or a tenth or something like that back there, that I was kind of like, yeah, okay, yeah. One solid point. Richard 1, no bullshit, has not been taken down yet.
None of those kids who told me to kill myself, shove a fucking pineapple up my ass, none of those kids were vegans, so what the fuck is this horseshit about vegans being the most horrible people on Earth because some random anon sent you some nasty messages?
Well, I think the point is that Leafy is Here fans aren't vegans, and I don't think they necessarily hold any moral stance. So, because they don't hold a moral stance on being, trying to what was it? Stop undue suffering of animals, which I think constitutes people in that thing, in a very technical sense, because scientifically speaking, mammals, right? So when you talk about that, yeah. When you talk about it in that respect, and oh fuck, I can't think right now because I really need to piss. So I'm probably just gonna end this because this is cancerous as shit. Mind you, I just really want to and kind of like, I don't know, what would you call it? Just fucking what is it called? Just therapy, because vegans are so nuts, and I haven't said anything about them, and I just gotta say some fucking criticism, edge some criticism at especially Richard, as far as I can tell, because Richard seems to be the worst I can see on this whole thing with 290k subs, which I'm surprised that people go along with this. I'm just surprised. Maybe people are out there along for the ride. Maybe there's a transfer with Leafy fans and Destiny fans and Onision fans, but I don't know. Maybe there's a common link there. Maybe there isn't. I just know that there is a lot of people sub to Scummy People on YouTube for some reason. I don't follow this at all. But what the hell was I trying to say there? The hell? Oh yeah. Okay. So see, the problem with Leafy fans is they don't necessarily have or Leafyites, I guess, if that makes any sense. They don't have a moral stance. They never claim to be the moral people. So therefore, you can't claim hypocrisy, right? You can claim that they're shitheads, but you can't claim hypocrisy. When Onision talks about being, a feminist and stuff like that, or defending feminism, and then treats his weird girlfriend three-way thing going on, I don't know what the hell, whatever degenerate relationship he has going on, like shit, the women like shit. That's hypocrisy. See, that's what no bullshit's trying to make. Is why your example doesn't hold as much water. It's like, oh god, let's say this is an example everyone fucking loves. Is and you'll agree to this one, right, Richard? Because you seem to be against the Muslims, or at least you argue that for devil's advocate. Argue it, even if you don't necessarily agree with it, just to for the sake of argument with the skeptic community, because the skeptic community talks about Islam a lot. Let's take the Islam argument. So you have Islam is a religion of peace. Kaboom, 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 kaboom. Oh, but you can't blame Islam. You see the hypocrisy? Well, that's not really a religion of peace if it's responsible for 70% of the terrorism worldwide in this modern age. Right? Anyways, I think I've made enough points. I've gotten what I need to say off my chest. I actually really hate that expression. Off my mind is a better one. But I've basically drunk almost a full 2 liters of water this past hour and probably a half. You're probably bored as shit. Yeah, I'd imagine he's probably going to make more retarded arguments similar to this. Maybe I'll do a part 2. Maybe I won't, because I don't think it's necessary. I'll probably just make my video next, and, well, not next. It won't be my video next, but you know what I mean. I'll probably just, finish arguing with vegans after I finish, make my next, whatever the fuck, the vegan video, and then we'll be done with it, because, wow, unless you want to debate me, bro, or there's something new or interesting. There's not really much else to say that I just don't agree. And I think you are a shitty actor for vegans everywhere. I've been talking to, some of the other vegans in the comments section in, nice, polite, and cordial ways. I've met a lot of nasty ones, but I've also met some nice ones that are just, they're not shitheads like you, Richard. And it's your... Let's face it. You're a shitty person, and you are screwing them over because they're trying to have their nice little movement of morals and ethics that I don't necessarily agree with, but, hey, you knock yourself out, you're not being violent, you're not being shithead, well, they are being nice, you are not being nice. The problem is when you have shitheads like you in their community using their labels, they have to... they get upset that we have to, we're calling you out for being a piece of shit and labeling vegans the way we label them because, let's face it, stereotypes fucking suck and they're there for a reason, and they're getting put onto those stereotypes. It's not fair to them. Richard, you're fucked. You're fucked. You're a fucked person. I'm sorry. I really don't know if it's irresponsible of me to not call the RCMP, or at least just inform them of, hey, there's this YouTuber and he's kind of fucking insane. Might want to keep an eye on him in case he does something fucking crazy, or if any of the threats that he's made online are actionable or chargeable. I'm just saying, Richard, you're a nutcase that I'm really not sure what to do with. And I usually have an opinion on everything, but I don't have an opinion on what the hell to do with you. I definitely know speaking about it is probably part of the solution, at least. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this didn't bother you, or, not bother you, God. Was too cancerous for you, and we're going to hit the stop streaming button. Because OBS is a piece of shit, we're going to count down to 3, 2, 1. That should be good.